The Uniform Source, coastal leader for all your uniform needs on ESPN Radio.
The Atlanta Braves. Do not change your dial. Do not look at your calendar. The Atlanta Braves are going to the World Series. No, it's time to party.
Let's go.
Like 1999.
Yes.
First time.
Got a shot.
In 22 years.
Got a shot, Christian.
The Atlanta Braves are playing in the Fall Classic. PJ, I am going to be an emotional mess this Saturday.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward
I'm glad I won't be here.
Not hearing from you at all.
I'm glad you guys won't be around me. I'm going to be in the press box down at TIAA Bank Stadium for Georgia, Florida.
Even better.
And you have that, and then trying to get home. Luckily, they don't overlap because the entire press box would probably be an emotional wreck.
Yeah.
But you have Game 4 of the World Series.
It's a real thing.
I don't think you can say that enough. I feel like I have to say that in all caps because, like, if you're a Dodgers fan or an Astros fan, you're like, oh, it's the World Series. That's what we do. Going to the World Series. I don't know how to feel about it. I was telling you earlier, usually at this point of the season, and it's football season, obviously.
Yeah.
I am so, like, unemotionally invested in baseball.
Right.
I could give two rips about watching the Dodgers and the Astros play in the World Series. I'm just being honest. I know there's a lot of baseball fans out there. I don't care. Unless it's the Braves, I don't care. But Saturday, watching them clinch that game, and there's a lot I want to talk about from that game, but watching them clinch that game, and I know it's not the culmination because, like the legendary Kobe Bryant said, job's not done.
That's it.
You still have 4 more games you need to win.
Exactly. You can't just be happy about this.
But still, I think guys like Brian Snitker and Freddie Freeman are absolutely allowed to just sit there and relish in that moment and just enjoy it because they have absolutely earned it. Go back and read the stories about Brian Snitker and how he came up through the Braves and just being called up all the way to the pros and being a position coach and a third base coach and then being sent back down to AAA and then being sent back down to low A and just moving his family all around and then getting the phone call that, hey, we want you to be the interim after we fire Freddie Gonzalez, and then driving down to spring training, getting the phone call that he's the guy.
Yeah.
Like go read Brian Snitker's story, over 30 years of professional baseball, and now he gets to manage a team in the World Series. And he said it in the postgame on TBS. So usually I'm at home in my Barca lounger watching other teams do this.
Right.
And he's like, it just felt so far away from us being able to do this. And I know Alex Anthopoulos is getting a lot of credit for this because, and deservedly so, basically saying, hey, we got a shot here. Let's go for it. And management saying, all right, you got whatever you need, which I thought that was one of the cooler stories from the post game is like the story comes out that it wasn't just, hey, I was within a budget. Management for the Braves said, you got whatever you need.
Yeah.
Alex Anthopoulos, go after it and get it done. But everyone was calling for Snitker's job. There was a lot of Lloyd Pierce, Nate McMillan comparisons going on. We're like, look, the Hawks were really good. They just had a bad coach. Mm-hmm. You fire him midseason, and look what Nate McMillan was able to do. If you were thinking that way, you haven't been paying attention to what Brian Snitker has led this Braves team from. Think about 4 years ago where this Braves team was.
Yeah.
When you had those young guys coming up and playing the last 40 or so games of the season, like the Ozzie Albies and the Ronald Acuñas, who you hadn't really heard of before, right? Think about where they were, and then now you've won, what, 4 consecutive division titles? You've been to the NLCS twice in the past 2 years, and you just won one, and you're going to your first World Series since 1999.
It's incredible.
It's amazing what Brian Snitker has been able to do, and now you just have to win 4 games.
That's it. No, exactly right. I mean, and this wasn't just something that it's not something that's gone away either. I mean, think of what, of course, as you mentioned, what the whole organization was able to do after the All-Star break, and with Alex Anthopoulos and the Braves organization being able to make those trades and bring who they needed to in. But also you got to have that team to mesh. You got to put those guys in the right spot. You have to manage them well, and believe Snit was able to do that. And obviously very well, not only through the last half of the regular season, but also throughout the playoffs. But those things have not gone away or changed. still had statuses and things like that and conversations with people after I think it was one loss to the Brewers, and saw someone say, "All right, this is it. He can't do it. He can't make the decisions he needs to make for us to win a World Series, to get to the World Series." That still has not gone away for whatever reason. But look at where they are, and like you said, this isn't a celebration of it's over. We got to the World Series. We're done. Our job is complete. This is fantastic. But it is a recognition of, like you said, the journey that these guys have been on, the things that they've had to work through. And for me, I think all those things are great. And I think, like what you said, the story of Snitker is insane and something that people should cherish.
Yeah.
And, also you look at the guys on this team and not only the manager, but the coaches on this team as well. Like, I mean, what's that?
I'm sorry. This is completely off of left field.
Sure.
Why do you have glitter on your face?
I don't know. Do I? I'm not sure.
You got some glitter on that right cheek. Where were you celebrating that win at on Saturday, PJ?
The Braves win?
Yeah.
Well, let's be real.
Where would you get glitter on your face at? Anyway, carrying on.
Let's be honest. Something happened on Saturday, and if you know who I'm a fan of, you know what happened. So we're going to
talk about that.
No. So we don't have to talk about it. But I kind of I think my body disappeared for a good 7 or 8 hours before I came to again. So I don't know.
Okay, so you could have gone somewhere where glitter is very prevalent.
I don't know.
But just speaking on Snitker, Game 6, Ian Anderson's pitched 4 strong innings, giving up 1 run, and you're in the bottom of that inning there, and you have 2 outs and a runner on first, and the rubber is Travis Darno, who had just legged out an infield single, right? So you have Travis Darno, who is probably the slowest guy, definitely since you traded Pablo Sandoval, but probably the slowest guy on your roster, right?
Right.
So he's on first. You have 2 outs, pitcher spot coming up. Ian Anderson's pitched really well. All right. Do we really want to send somebody up here? Or do you just say, Ian Anderson, go out there and hit? If you can get something, great. If not, you can still keep pitching, right? So Snitker makes a decision. I'm going to go ahead and pinch hit Adrianza.
Yeah.
And I just want to read it. So Grant McCauley tweeted out Brian Snitker opting to go with Adrianza as a pinch hitter after 2-out walk to Travis Darno. It was the walk, that he was on base for. He did have an infield single. So just the comments below that about Ian Anderson and Brian Snitker, absolutely horrible. It's a catcher on first. Nope, Adrianza will strike out all the same. Don't like this move. Let's see. Horrible decision. They're all so good.
The knee-jerk reactions are some of the best things in sports.
Well, no, it's just there are so many great tweets in here. Absolutely horrible, absolutely disgusting. I mean, there's literally someone says disgusting in there. It's a catcher on first. Snitker knows what position Travis Darno plays, but then what happens? Adrianza hits a rope down the line again because old Travis Darno, he's not overly speedy. He only makes it to third, and so you have runners on second and third, 2 outs, and you have the hottest hitter in baseball come up.
Yeah.
And what happens from there? 3-run jack. You're up 4-1, and we know how the rest of that story played out. I think the only criticism you can really have for Snit and is he's loyal to a fault sometimes, but he's also loyal to where the media and fans overreact, and he ends up being right. Like Will Smith has been really good, and everybody was ready to just absolutely not even trade Will Smith, just cut him, get rid of him.
Yeah.
There's so many constant questions, and Brian Snitker just kind of laughed him off the whole year. He's like, no, he's our closer.
Right.
Like he's our closer. And I think he had the 3rd most closes before during the regular season. And then he gets to the postseason. He's been unbelievable during the postseason. And I think the only thing you can really question is the Luke Jackson move.
Yeah.
But also Luke Jackson for stretches of the season has been one of your best bullpen guys. But it was one of those games, PJ, where it just felt like every move the Braves made worked out. Because even though you bring in Luke Jackson and he gives up 2 walks and then a double.
Yeah.
I believe is how that went. You had runners on first and second, gives up a double, gives up a run. You have runners on second and third, nobody out. And you can finally go get him because you have the 3-batter minimum rule. You can finally go get him. And who do you bring in? Tyler Matzik. And he has the most dominant 6-out performance that I think I've seen from a bullpen guy in a long time.
Crazy. Yeah. Just on fire. Is that kind of the not to make this too like storybook or whatever, is that kind of like the culmination of how the season's gone though? I mean, like you have a lot of a lot of things going well, and then like all of a sudden something happens that just keeps you on the back foot a little bit. Like you have the off and on win streak, a win-loss streak. You have the
500,
injury,
500,
you
500,
have the
500,
injury with
500,
Acuna and things like that. So like everything's like, and then boom, all of a sudden you have Matzik come in. You have the fire of the late innings. I mean, it's interesting
Matt's
how
been
all
the
this
Braves for a
plays
while,
out.
and he's been really good. It's just he hasn't been this good, but he's been lights out this season.
Yeah.
But just it's AJ Minter, who was atrocious midway through this year. You send him down to AAA, he gets his mind right. He was dominant in AAA. Bring him back up. He's been really good. Since he came back up. So those three lefty arms really in Matzik, AJ Minter, and Will Smith have been phenomenal for you in the postseason. And I think that's a big advantage going into the series. You have those lefties in that pen who can get it done. You don't really have a righty right now that you feel overly comfortable throwing as a bullpen guy where you're like, all right, this guy's going to come in and get it done. I mean, Chris Martin's good for a home run every time he comes in. He's throwing some BP fastballs up there. But I mean, even sticking with lefties, Drew Smiley, he came in and gave you 4 really solid innings.
Yeah.
When you really needed him to in a bullpen game. So
a lot of people were cringing when
I was one of them
too.
I cringed the entire time because every time he got an out, it looked like that thing was going about 8 rows deep. Right. But it was just there were such soft pitches that they ended up just being fly out. So it's awesome. I just kind of want to celebrate. Listen, we'll do the Nick Saban thing. We can celebrate right now. We'll cut it off here. Let's cut it off at 3 and out. 3 and out can cut it off. We'll cut it off at 3 o'clock. Right. You have until 3 o'clock to celebrate. Then we got to get our minds right for tomorrow, where the Braves open up the World Series.
It's the thing, man. It's like it's a balance. You can appreciate something, but not think like, all right, we're celebrating that we got here and this is it. Like, no, it's not. Like, be happy. Like, this is an extremely notable thing. Like, if this would have happened last year, I mean, think about where we were last year. At this time, you know, everyone down in the dumps like crazy.
In a bad way.
Be happy about it, but no, that doesn't mean the preparation.
All right, I'm glad I have you here because you can
get set for the Astros.
You can walk me through this. So Tuesday and Wednesday, we have games 1 and games 2 of that series. Both of those are in Houston. And then you come back for 3 straight, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Atlanta. And we have pretty much, or it's going to be post 8 o'clock first pitches in all of those games. Yeah. So tomorrow, 8:09 first pitch. I'm just going to guess because I think I know how this works, but I don't know because we're switching away from the Braves radio network here and we have to go to the National. So is that still a 6:30-ish?
Close.
Pregame?
Well, I mean, I'll have to check in with Kevin, but normally for a broadcast like that, it's probably going to be 7.
Kevin thrown up a 7. So we have a 7 o'clock pregame.
Just can't wait on my answer. Well, it's going to be 7.
You said Kevin's name, and then he chucked up
that's what he does.
7.
No, but it's the 1 hour. It's just like you're playing a Sunday night or a Monday night baseball broadcast, 1 hour pregame.
So, again, game 1 coming up tomorrow at 8:09. So 7 o'clock pregame coverage starts for you, and you will be able to hear them on all of our stations: ESPN Radio Hilton Head, ESPN Radio Savannah, ESPN Radio Coastal, ESPN Okefenokee.
And that'll be how it is.
Yeah.
All the way through the World Series. Of course. Well, I mean, anyway, you get into Saturday, it might be a little bit different, but no, those 1 hour pregame.
Yeah, you might not have the pregame on Saturday in Savannah.
Right.
Because you'll have Georgia and Florida. I mean, again, that's going to be just a day.
Oh, that's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. Well, let's keep it there.
So much anxiety.
I don't want
for Georgia
to think
sports
about
fans
the other
that
possibility.
Day.
You know what I mean?
You're going to be like if things go well and Georgia beats Florida, which there's a good chance that happens. Not a great chance, a good chance. Anything can happen in a rivalry. You have that game, and then you'll be like, yeah, all right, we got to get locked in for game 4 because dream scenario, you're going into game 4 ready to just get this one done.
Yeah, exactly.
Realistic scenario, it's a big game that you're going to need.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, game 4 is extremely important no matter what. Like it could be the end of the series, or it could be the swing game. 2-1 either way, and trying to figure out.
Listen, we got so many great storylines in this World Series. You have Dusty Baker, who's the manager for the Astros, and he made his debut as a pro player at 19 years old for the Atlanta Braves. He was actually on deck when Hank Aaron hit 715.
Amazing.
You have him, and it's the same year Hank Aaron passed away. The Braves wearing 44 on their hats this year, and obviously 44 mowed into the center field and been honoring Hank Aaron all year. You have Snit, who's been with the Braves for so long, getting to manage. You have Freddie Freeman, who I think he's been with the Braves for 11 years. these are 11 or 12 years.
Somewhere
And he's
around there,
finally
yeah.
made a World Series. So many cool storylines. But
Somehow it feels like
one of my
longer, yeah.
favorite is you have Charlie Morton, who played in so many crucial games for the Houston Astros and came up with so many big moments going in game 1 for the Atlanta Braves in Houston.
Yep.
That's going to be awesome. So many cool storylines. We're going to take a quick break here. We're going to move on. I know you just want to bask in the glow of the NLCS, but we got to talk some college football.
Let's keep doing that.
No.
Let's
We're going to talk
Braves.
some college football because we had something that's never happened before. We got the debut of the new college football overtime rule, and
I can't wait.
PJ intrinsically involved in that. So we're going to dive into that when we come back. This is Second Down on ESPN Radio. Hey, PJ.
Hello.
Listen, this is a therapy session.
I'm happy that I'm not going to say that.
This is a safe space. This is Second Down on ESPN Radio, presented to you by the Uniform Source.
Is it?
Well,
Is
it
it
is that.
safe?
It is Second Down on ESPN Radio,
It
presented to you by the Uniform Source.
I don't know if it's safe for me, though. I don't know if it's safe for anyone right now.
Well, listen, our own PJ Zuko, our Penn State representative here.
Hello.
You had a rough weekend.
That's an understatement.
What
I mean, what sucks is everything else about it was pretty fun.
Let's just rip the Band-Aid off.
Ugh.
Penn State lost to Illinois. Okay, can we talk about this? Websites that still have autoplay audio in 2021 can go straight to hell, but carrying on. Illinois came in 2-5. Fresh off the heels of Brett Bielema saying, my offensive linemen suck. I can't win with any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh off of that, they come in and beat Penn State in 9 overtimes.
Wait for it.
20-18.
79. Oh, wait. Oh, it was 20-18?
In 9 overtimes, 20-18. Now, this had been a couple of years ago. The only way that could have happened is if both offenses were just atrocious or missing field goals all over the place and couldn't score any points, right? And you're just like, it's just back and forth zeros up on there, which is kind of the case. But in case you missed the memo, in college football, after the second overtime, I believe it is, PJ?
Yeah.
After the second overtime,
that now.
you have to now just go for 2. And it's not like, oh, you scored a touchdown, and so now you have to go for 2 like they did. No. It's just you're going for 2 back and forth. And so one team's on offense, one team's on defense. If one team gets it and the defensive team doesn't get it, then boom, game over. If they both miss and you flip it, you flip sides of the field, you flip who's going first. And so in this game, those guys had, 98 yards times 8 that they had to walk?
Yeah.
Back and forth?
Right. Yeah.
So read you that was my favorite part, is they could get a full commercial break in between that just because the guys had to run.
That's it.
So we'll go 98 times 8. These guys had to walk 784 yards in overtime.
Those poor referees.
But I want to go through and talk about some of this stuff, PJ, because I mean, it is fascinating. I mean, you have to kind of separate yourself from it. I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
Sure.
You lost. I shouldn't say you. I'm sorry. Penn State lost to a quarterback, PJ, in the year of our Lord 2021. They lost to a quarterback who threw for 38 yards.
And what's amazing about that is you're not going to see this on the stats sheet because I don't think the stats count when it gets to that point. But
they count.
I'm not sure. I didn't go back and look at the box score. So, what's amazing is the quarterback that threw for 38 yards and was in for, played the whole game and several overtimes, isn't even the quarterback that threw the successful two-point conversion to win the game.
7th overtime, Illinois starting quarterback Sikowski
broke
his wrist.
That guy got hurt. That guy, and not to make the mothership mad, but ESPN's pretty good at taking gross injuries and replaying them on slow motion 19 times.
Well,
like, dude, why are you doing this to us? It's disgusting.
That's a different conversation. I kind of have a different take on that. I do think the audience is entitled, if they're watching that, to see what happened during the play. That's just my opinion.
One time? Sure.
I think I don't think you need to keep replaying it over and over and over again. But I think like as soon as you can establish, oh yeah, that's bad, then okay, we can go ahead and move on from that. But
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but that being said, the scoring summary is absolutely fascinating to me.
I was trying to change the subject so bad.
Penn State goes up 7-0 in the first quarter. They go up 10-0 early in the second. Illinois, comes back. They score a touchdown in the second quarter, 10-7. We hold that score all the way through the third quarter. Then they come out. Illinois hits a 37-yard field goal, 10-10, go into overtime. And that was a whole thing. It's just 10-10 against Illinois in Happy Valley. I told you this earlier. Penn State is Clemson North.
Right now,
amazing elite defense.
Yeah.
Absolutely atrocious on offense. So we go to overtime. Here's my favorite part.
Let me say this one more thing. Penn State had 3 turnovers to Illinois' 0. They scored 3 points off of those turnovers.
It's phenomenal.
And two of the three.
Do you think your defensive guys wanted to fight the offensive guys?
Absolutely.
All right.
Two of the three turnovers as well were recovered inside Illinois' 30-yard line. And you got 3 points. So there's that.
Oh, man. All right, so carrying on.
Yep.
We're going to overtime, 10-10. Both teams trade field goals in the first one. Fascinating because Illinois has to hit a 39-yard field goal. So you trade field goals, and then we flip it. You trade field goals again. This time, Penn State has to hit a 40-yard field goal.
Mm-hmm.
Just offensive juggernauts. So we have now played 2 overtimes, and the score is 16-16. Then we take a big old break from second overtime to the 8th overtime before points are put on the board. That's right, folks. They went through the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Count them. 5 overtimes without either team being able to convert a 2-point conversion.
It's what we call college football purgatory, people. Like,
I think some people call it hell.
No, hell was the 9th overtime, but
for you.
That's what, like, as I don't know, even as a Penn State fan, watching that display of football.
Well, okay, so they had Dan Orlowski on the call, and I love Dan Orlowski. I think he's done a really good job in the play-by-play.
Yeah, I did all right. Yeah.
He kept like trying his best because it's like he's a quarterback trying to talk about 2 like really bad offenses. Yep. And so he kept trying to do his best, be like, all right, so like, listen, you're Penn State, you got Noah Cain, you got to get on the ball. They'd give the ball to Noah Cain and he just gets swallowed up in the backfield.
Yeah.
Like there was no creative play calling. There was no motion. There was no booting the quarterback out and trying to get somebody going the wrong way. It was just hand the ball up the middle. Okay, that didn't work. All right, we're going to go with a flag route from the 2-yard line. Hope that, okay, that's covered up. My quarterback's just going to throw it out of the back of the end zone. And Dan Orlowski brought up a great point because both quarterbacks did this. It's a 2-point conversion. Throw an interception. Who cares?
Yeah.
Literally,
exactly.
Why would you throw the football away on a 2-point conversion? Who are you trying to save yardage for? I can't take a sack there. What are you talking about?
And this is where one of my arguments comes in, right? Is like I posted this on Twitter. You guys have heard it 97 times. I get it. We have Jahan Dotson, who
might be the best wide receiver in college football.
He has dropped, count them, 1 pass this year, and that's not for lack of receptions. He has dropped 1 pass. Like you said, interceptions don't matter. Once we got into the 2-point conversion phase, how many balls went to him? 0.
Okay. Yeah.
0.
That was bad, but let's talk about what makes it worse.
We talk about not having interceptions as a it not mattering. Throw it up, even if you're in trouble and the play's not supposed to go to him.
Just throw it at him. Just throw it at him and hope something good happens.
Yeah.
All right. So you go 5 overtimes without allowing a 2-point conversion if you're Penn State. Then you go back-to-back overtimes, 8th and 9th, giving up a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
And so
even better. Yeah.
You have to score.
Right.
You have to score. And what is Penn State's decision on how they're going to put up their 2-point version? Because they go first in the 9th, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they go first in the bottom of the 9th there. No, that was the top of the 9th in this game in overtime.
Oh, yeah, top of the 9th. Oh, that was terrible.
I know. So you go wide receiver reverse throwback to Sean Clifford, and the play was open for like a -5-yard gain.
Yeah, but I mean, he was wide open, but
he was going to get his clock cleaned. That play wasn't open.
No.
And like Sean Clifford was still behind the line of scrimmage when the ball got to him. So they do like a jet sweep, reverse it back to the wide receiver. Sean Clifford runs out into the flat, and the wide receiver throws in the ball, and it's like down by his ankles. Clifford drops the ball. He still gets cleaned out, and then Illinois hits theirs, and it's over.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'll go back and watch. But either way, no, you're right. That play call was insanely embarrassing. And again, I've said this before too, and that's not what you need to do. Like that's not what you do as the 7th ranked team in the nation, as a program like Penn State, that even if they're not incredibly like great at football and an elite and whatever, that's not what you do in those moments. You impose your will on the opposing team, and no matter what it is, and you use the best athletes you have in their best roles. And repeatedly, that does not happen for this team.
It's true.
When it matters most. Like you can go back years to the games we lost against Michigan State and Ohio State in 2016 and all that.
It'd be like Ohio State going for 2 and not being able to get it all those times and never throwing it past to Chris Olave.
In your biggest moments, you didn't go to the guys who do it the best at their best positions. Right. Instead, you choose a throwback. I'm going to
move you off of this.
Who also
this is getting dark.
Hold on. Who also is injured, has played the whole game, like hobbling around in the backfield and getting up after 30 seconds lying on the ground. Like, not smart, man. That's not what you draw up. Sorry, it's never going to work.
This is getting dark. We're going to come back. We're going to lighten it up. So we're going to talk about whatever the hell happened with Oklahoma. We're going to talk about why Bryce Young, I think, has now separated himself as the Heisman front runner. He did something that no Alabama quarterback has ever done before. So we'll talk about that and why I think Alabama has 2 Heisman contenders. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what could have been a great game. Still could be, but now it's more of a upset watch, I think, for that game. So we got some more college football to talk about. We'll do it. 3 and Outs coming up next. Guys have a big week planned coming up. A ton of Georgia, Florida guests coming up on the show today. We'll continue that trend throughout the week. And then, of course, on Thursday, ourselves and 3 and Out will be out at the Westin on Jekyll Island from 2 to 6, broadcasting live. We'll be back there on Friday from 2 to 6, leading up to Ben Troop's 2021 Florida-Georgia Legends Series. We got former Florida legends, Georgia legends, guys that have made huge plays in this rivalry. We'll have them there at the Westin on Jekyll. You can meet them on Friday, hang out while they do the roundtable and discuss the game. And then, hey, get a room, stay the night. You can go down to the game on Saturday, tailgate, have fun in Jacksonville, and your hotel is back on beautiful Jekyll Island. You're not too far away. So we have that coming up this week. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll come back with more college football right here on Second Down. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source, wrapping up the weekend of college football. I thought a couple statement games, PJ, from two teams that if I had to put money on it will probably be in the college football playoff. Alabama, 52-24 over Tennessee, 15th straight win in that rivalry series. Is it really a rivalry anymore if one team's won 15 in a row?
I don't know. Everyone has different definitions for what they think rivalries are. Let's not get into all that. I mean, that goes
all right,
deep.
We're staying away from the darkness.
That argument goes deep.
We're staying away from the darkness. All right, Bryce Young in this game, 31-43, 371 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. Also added a couple touchdowns on the ground in this game. I think he is now the clear Heisman frontrunner, past Matt Corral, past C.J. Stroud, past any of the running backs. I think Bijan Robinson, they needed to win one of those games that they've lost for him to still be in the conversation. I mean, you're what, a 3-loss team now? Like, you can't.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He also have to be a quarterback. Like if you're going to win the Heisman on a losing team, not even a losing team, right?
You got to be Lamar Jackson.
With multiple losses, you have to be a quarterback. That's what I'm saying. Like Robert Griffin III was able to do it. Lamar Jackson was able to do it, but they were quarterbacks, right? So like, for whatever reason, you just lose your luster if you're a running back on like a 3 or 4 loss team.
Yeah.
Even if you put up like 3,000 yards, they're not going to give it to
Bryce Young in this game became the first quarterback in the history of Alabama to throw for 350 plus yards.
Yeah.
And rush for 2 touchdowns.
Wild. And really, that sentence by itself, even without the stats, like at this point, you're still putting up records as an Alabama quarter, like with who they've had come through in the past.
Well, I was like,
years.
come on, that can't be right. I was like, even like Tua, Tua's had to have like a 350 plus yard game where you just got a couple sneaks or something like that.
Yeah.
Nope, never happened before.
It's insane.
The school Joe Namath.
Yeah.
It's never happened before. In this game, I thought, like, I was watching it, I picked Tennessee to cover. They were 24.5 point dogs. And I was like, I think they cover this game. I don't think they were going to win, but I could see like 42-21 or something like that. Well, they end up scoring 24 points. And when you look at the game, you're like, all right, Tennessee's hanging around into the first. Tennessee had a lead.
Yeah.
On Alabama. It's like the first time Nick Saban had been down 7 points at the end of the first quarter in like an ungodly amount of time.
Yeah.
But then your offense kind of melts down in the second and third quarters because you have 3 combined points. And then defense just goes to hell in the fourth quarter. You give up 28 points.
Yeah.
And everybody who took Tennessee in the points was watching that going, Josh Heupel, you're dead to me.
Yeah. Absolutely. I know I was.
So I thought Tennessee, I really thought Tennessee could give Alabama a scare. And they did for like 15 minutes. And then Alabama was able to move on. And listen, I know Indiana's not good at football. They're one of those teams before the year everybody was getting really excited about because of Michael Penix Jr. And then I know he gets hurt, but still, Indiana's not good at football. But Ohio State is.
Yeah.
Well, they were winning 44-7 at halftime.
Yeah, which is wild. Because even like Indiana does.
Like they treated Vanderbilt like SEC team, or they treated Indiana like SEC teams treat Vanderbilt.
They did. And that was insanely impressive because, again, like Indiana does have a somewhat respectable defense, even with Penix being out. And really that offense was all Penix. I'll say that. He single-handedly kept them in and won a lot of ball games for them last year. And that's how it was going to have to be this year if they were going to do the same thing. But with him being banged up and just not being himself this year, this is what you get. And especially with Ohio State hitting their stride, because Ohio State's doing what good teams do and good programs do, and they lose a game, and that makes they make themselves better after that, right?
I thought there was a couple.
Some teams do that anyway.
I thought there was a couple statement wins this week. Pitt handling Clemson, and I'll say handled. They were up 24-10 in the fourth quarter. And then Clemson tacks on a touchdown, and Pitt adds a field goal to make it 27-17 at the final. But, I mean, that was a game, again, I took Clemson in this game because I thought, listen, ACC is going to ACC. They're going to hurt themselves, which that did happen in another game. We'll get to that in a second.
Right.
But Pitt, do you know who their losses to?
Yeah. No, I know. Believe me. I've been keeping an eye on them all year.
Well, you have to for like safety purposes.
Western Michigan. Yeah.
They lost to Western Michigan. But they've beaten Tennessee. They've now beaten Clemson. Like they have a pretty impressive resume. They're 6-1 right now, and they're a really good team. But I just had a feeling in my gut the ACC was going to ACC at some point this weekend, and they did. It was NC State.
Yeah,
NC State has beaten Clemson already. They were 5-1 coming into this game, playing Miami, a team who's just bad.
They are.
And
Backup quarterback now and everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
Miami comes in with a backup quarterback. Home game for them, beat NC State 31-30. Just the ACC is doing its best to just be irrelevant.
And I think to a certain point, like you can bring that down to the teams themselves too, right? Like the individual teams. And there's a lot of teams in there that just once they start getting belief in them, it's like they just don't know how to handle it. NC State's kind of one of those teams. I didn't keep track of it because I don't really care that much, but did Purdue lose to Wisconsin this weekend?
Oh, they sure
or did. They win?
They got handled by Wisconsin 30-13.
That's because Purdue's just one of those teams.
Well, I was telling you, Wisconsin is now 4-3, and they control their destiny in the Big Ten.
I will say, Wisconsin's played a pretty wild schedule, like over the course of the year.
I mean, yeah, they played you guys.
Yeah,
and they lost to Notre Dame.
Yeah, the Notre Dame game.
It's not even like the wild part is they got smashed by Notre Dame and Michigan. 41-13 and 38-17.
They got handled by Michigan. They didn't.
Notre Dame scored like 28 points in the fourth quarter.
They let the Notre Dame game snowball.
That was the Chicago's at the Soldier Field Stadium, right?
Yeah,
that was that one.
They let that snowball. That was a one possession game late in the game, and
all right, all of those pale in comparison to what happened.
True, yeah.
To what happened with Kansas and Oklahoma out in Lawrence, Kansas. Let's just preface this by saying
there were so many incredible points.
The number 3 Oklahoma Sooners came into this game against the 1-5 Kansas Jayhawks, who I think Kansas's only win is over an FCS team. I do believe. I can check on that here in a second.
Too. Yeah.
But it got to the point where Kansas was winning this football game, and on their local radio stations, they put out the call to Jayhawks fans everywhere, like, "Hey, hey, y'all, something's happening. Y'all might want to get here.
Yep.
It's getting weird. We got plenty of seats. Come on. You know what? You got no tickets. Yep. We're just going to leave the gates open.
It's amazing.
Hurry. Get here. We need you." And they did. They did the time lapse of the stadium. First quarter, it was like a third full. And it was like about a third full. And then you get to the fourth quarter, that thing was 2/3 full.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, well, hell yeah." It's like a bunch of college kids because it was a noon kick. So 11 a.m. local time.
Right.
They're probably still in bed.
Of
and
course.
they're like, "We're doing what? Yeah, we got to get there."
The last thing you have scheduled on your Saturday for if you're a college kid in Kansas is going to the Jayhawks game.
But I mean, PJ, in the fourth quarter, the Kansas Jayhawks, with 5 minutes and 56 seconds left, were up 28-23 on Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And it took a play that I believe should have been blown dead. They gave the ball to Kennedy Brooks, and on a 4th and 3, they give the ball to Kennedy Brooks, and he gets stoned at the line of scrimmage, and his forward momentum was completely stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And Caleb Williams, the freshman quarterback who saved them against Oklahoma or against Texas, comes and grabs the ball out of Kennedy Brooks' hands and just takes it and runs.
Right.
Like, possession was stopped.
Yeah.
And he just ripped the ball out of his running back's hands and ran for the first down. Everyone's like, "Wow, heads up play." I'm like, "Yeah, this should have been a play."
Right.
It should have been over.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Oklahoma is just, I would be really curious to go back and look and see how many 8-0 teams have won or have gotten there with a smaller victory margin.
Yeah.
Like cumulative. Average margin of victory.
I'm pretty sure they have, and this is without Kansas because they actually put up some points there in the fourth, but I'm pretty sure before that they had 6 wins already. Kansas
has one win this year, 17-14 in the first game over South Dakota, which, I mean, I love the Dakotas, but.
Of course. No, but Oklahoma has 6 wins as a one possession game this
Western
year.
Carolina screwed everything up. They beat Western Carolina 76-0. Outside of that, beat Tulane by 5, Nebraska by 7, West Virginia by 3, Kansas State by 6, Texas by 7, TCU by 21, and then last week you beat Kansas by 12.
Okay, so it was 5. Gotcha. So you got 5 there, but
they're going to lose a game. I'm just going to say it. They got Texas Tech this weekend. Then they get a bye week, and then they're at Baylor, who Dave Aranda's done a really good job out there.
Mm-hmm.
They're at Baylor, who's number 16 in the country right now. They finished with 3 top 25 teams. Then they're home against Iowa State, who's crept back in the top 25, because they just beat Oklahoma State this past weekend. Oklahoma State's first loss of the year.
Right.
And then they're at Oklahoma State for Bedlam.
Right.
To finish the season.
Yeah.
Like, that's a true freshman quarterback going into Bedlam.
Mm-hmm. And Oklahoma State, when they're at home, it's weird. It's like one of those rivalries. But when OK State's at home, they can beat Oklahoma. When they're on the road, there's basically no chance every single year. But when they're at home, they can do it. And yeah, no, I'm with you. I think one of those games is a loss. Even if they get through that completely unscathed, then you have the Big 12 championship game, and you're playing one of those three teams again, most likely. So I'm with you there. I think even with Caleb Williams there at quarterback, and I know he came in looking like, a superhero for a little bit there against Texas and whatnot, and everyone thought he was a savior. But like, I don't think you have the same flaws with this team that you had when you were only winning by one possession. And yeah, those aren't going away just because you have a new quarterback in the game and you got a little bit of juice. So yeah, I think one, maybe even if you get upset or something like that, maybe even 2 losses still on the schedule for Oklahoma, but we'll see.
And then who would they be playing in the Big 12?
I'm pretty sure with the Big 12 championship, it's just whoever's second. It's first and second.
Yeah, I just don't know who it's going to be.
I think right now it'd be OK State, because they do have that one loss to Iowa State, but does Iowa State already have 2 losses in the Big 12?
Interesting. So there you go. I mean, and then of course the Western Carolina game completely throws it off, but Oklahoma's averaging 41 points a game and they're giving up 25.
Yeah.
But you have the shutout there against Western Carolina. So Oklahoma's weird this year, man. I don't know. I think they're going to lose one of those next 3 games. We got to take a quick break. We'll come back with more second down after this. Speaking of going 0 to 60, PJ, your shirt is phenomenal
Thanks, man.
today.
I appreciate that.
You got the Raise Hill Praise Boatdales
That's right.
going on.
This was a great present to the groomsmen, and individual T-shirts picked out and whatnot. And
When I see the Intimidator,
hell yeah,
well, I was like, good night. Does Junior have is it just Junior? Is that his nickname?
yeah, just Junior,
Is he
Junior, Junebug, whatever you want to call him.
Junebug.
I mean that was mainly like Daryl Waltrip's nickname for him, but
They called him Junebug.
Junebug, yeah,
That's either sensual or like paternal.
probably a little bit of both.
All right,
I mean, who knows?
adding a new meaning to rubbing and racing.
Oh man. Yeah, but whoever, if you see my shirt today, it's just a white shirt. It's got the Intimidator Earnhardt on the back. It's got the
Intimidator Junior.
It's got not only Dale Jr. on the back, but it's Bud Jr. It's Bud
Ooh,
Dale with the backwards baseball cap.
No interstate batteries in here, son.
No, none of that. And it just says Legends.
What's the other
on
one?
it.
Mountain Dew.
It was Legends. Yeah, Diet Mountain Dew,
Duh.
which was always frustrating for me as a Mountain Dew fan and a Dale Jr. fan. Like,
That's fair. PJ, we have 50 seconds here. What I want to know from you, because
Oh,
again,
no.
Penn State lost this weekend.
come on.
What is your process? How do you get how do you grieve, and when are you then okay?
Normally, it's a lot different when it's a good game, good, stressful, but hyped up game against a very good ranked team, or something like that. Ohio State something. This Saturday, I literally just went back in my room. I think I just kind of laid there and tried to cope for a couple hours, tried to get my mind off it and do other things, played some video games and whatnot. But like, I literally was not myself for a good 5 or 6 hours.
If
I tried to come to.
I'm down at the
after
Georgia Florida
that.
game this weekend and they lose, I might just keep driving down to Key West and just retire. So we got that going. 3 and Outs coming up next. I got a big show coming up. Ton of great guests previewing that Georgia Florida game. All that next, right here on ESPN Radio.